This is Dan Gasway once again with the Pitching Academy. Today I want to talk about rushing your delivery. We see it all the time in Little League, and we even saw it in the World Series with the Angels. I want to incorporate the slide step into this. A lot of people like to do the slide step. I absolutely don't like it. There are many reasons why, and I'll explain those today. But rushing your delivery, you see it all the time. First of all, it's with this leg, your landing leg, so the leg you're lifting up. People rush their delivery all the time, and they lose their mojo because they lose their rhythm. Much like a basketball free throw shooter, they get up to the line and they have a certain pattern. Every pitcher should have a certain pattern, and everybody does, but when you rush your delivery, you lose that pattern, you stop throwing strikes. So here are some things to watch out for in rushing your delivery. The flamingo is what I call it. If you just lift your leg up here and set your leg down, you're not going to get a lot of power towards home plate. You've got to lift your leg, lead with your hips, throw the leg out, and keep that delivery over and over again. That's one thing to rush that I see all the time with pitchers rushing their delivery. Another one is the slide step. They get right here into the stretch position, they come set, and they're worried about the runner so much, and they might hear something like, hey, he's going, he's taking off on the way to home plate. They end up gripping the baseball, they get really aggressive because they want to throw it hard, and they lose that same pattern that they need. They need to have that pattern. Throwing that leg out, they can't worry too much about the runner, okay? But you see it all the time. I don't like the slide step for this reason. You get right here, and people just rush their delivery all the time. There's hardly any power there. What I recommend to all the pitchers that I work with is at least lifting up your leg right that high when you're holding somebody on base. It looks like you're showing your butt to the catcher. You've got to lead with your hips. If you don't lead with your hips, you're not going to have the power. So then the question comes up, what would you rather have? A faster throw and a strike, obviously. You want to throw a strike to the batter as somebody's taken off on you. But you'd rather have the catcher have the opportunity to throw the guy out. So think about this. Most of the runners are going to take off on a change-up opportunity. If they know that you're throwing a change-up, the coaches know, hey, this is a change-up count. Therefore, we're going to send our runner. I hope you all know that. But if you just do your simple slide step, you're going to throw the ball, even if you're throwing a fastball, you're throwing the ball slower as it is. It's not giving your catcher a better chance of throwing the guy out at second or third for that matter. So what I recommend, I'm going to show you here, what I recommend is lifting your leg up at least right here every single time, so you're leading with your hip. And you can use this leg, throw that leg out, and push off the pitching rubber. I just made a YouTube video, another video, about how to push off the ball of this foot correctly. You're doing the same thing here, even when you want to get to home plate a little bit quicker. Again, you don't want to rush your delivery. There's a difference. You don't want to do the slide step. I can't stand it because you ruin that rhythm. But I like to lift my leg up here at least so I can lead with my hip and throw that leg out and get that momentum. Hopefully that'll help you practice that. Now we know from the windup you can bring your leg up as high as you want, okay? And as far back as you want. It's easier to lead with your hips when you're throwing from the windup. Leading with your hip and lift up the leg as high as you can. And I love watching Nolan Ryan growing up. Nolan Ryan had a huge, enormous leg lift. It was up to his forehead, or above his head. But anyway, from the stretch you can't do that, but you can still lead with your hip. Lead with your hip right here. That's such a critical part. Sticking your butt out to the catcher, okay? That's what it looks like. You're leading with your hip here, throwing that leg out. The biggest mistake a lot of pitchers make is rushing their delivery and squeezing the baseball when they try to get a runner out. Or actually when the runner's going, they get too tense and they're throwing another ball instead of a strike, and that's your main focus, is throwing strikes, obviously, instead of balls. Hopefully that made perfect sense.